all my stats are good. Like my health is okay.
You're live on the internet.
Hi, internet. How are you?
So my health is fine.
Right.
I just got to
Well, Mr. Graham, allow me
just
to
be careful about the jitters.
Allow me to remind you that there was one night with Mel that I looked at her and went,
I do
go
remember
to the
this.
emergency room, and everything was quote unquote fine. And then later on, we come to find out, and 5 stents in my heart later.
Yeah.
So see your doctor, figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
Just keep an eye on it.
We're not supposed to drink on our blood pressure medicine.
I know, but we do.
So, but this is what happens after a particularly good sesh, apparently, from time to time.
As I told you, just as you get older, you start to realize, like, there's my body will just kind of tell me, it's like, hey, you don't have the drinking shoes tonight. It's not happening, right? And there are some times that I do have the drinking shoes. The next day, I don't feel good, and it's not even a hangover. I feel a little shitty, right? But I can't do the follow-up, and you can't do if I had a good session on a Friday night, Saturday night's a night off.
Yeah.
You're not even having one. You're just Saturday night's a night off.
There's the thing. I thought I was cool because, like I said, Arsenal, it was like, 140 or whatever it was when we got home. 145, I had one. Then I had like one prepping dinner. Then I had one during dinner.
Yeah.
Right? So there's, 2 drinks within an hour probably.
Yeah.
Then I had one at like 8, and then I had one at like 10. Right. So like I'm not even thinking about it because it's so spread out. It didn't even feel the effects of them, to be completely fair.
Right.
Not even on my mind. And then lay down chilling and was like, well, that ain't good.
Nope.
Start sweating.
No so good. No so good.
Yeah. It's all good.
Well,
But what I was happy with is blood work. Everything's completely fine. Chest x-ray, normal. Everything's good. Like there was my health is fine. I just need to pay attention to this one aspect of my life a bit more closely.
I passed a stress test.
I know.
And months later, I had 5 stents put in my heart.
I know. But I am following up with my doctor, all that stuff. Everything's gonna be fine. But
very good.
Yeah, I'm cool.
Short Billy says sometimes he wears the drinking shoes on the wrong feet and ends up in the boot of shame.
Yeah, that
That is true.
Boot of shame. I like that.
By the way, also you can look down on the floor. I'm not putting the camera down there.
Nice.
I have been moved from boot to they want me to start wearing shoes to begin recovery. But it's like wear shoes all the time. Like in the house, if I'm not laying down, shoes on my feet is what they want.
So hardly ever.
Yeah. So. Yeah, and then I also I assisted Mel with her Halloween tours on Saturday.
It looks like you just put on a seersucker shirt and had a martini,
Seriously.
by my estimation.
That's pretty much it. And all the tour ladies loved him. They were like, "Oh my God, he's fantastic! We have him every week. He was doing this."
I mean, what was he? Fucking Scrooge McDuck sitting there?
Yeah.
Well,
he was just checking everybody in.
Looking like in downtown Annapolis with his martini and fucking.
While I was checking everybody,
cardigan on.
We had like Charlie's Angels, like tour guides. We go and find him outside Market House, and like we're all hanging around him. And then I start handing him my tip money because that's his favorite move. Is when I just give him all of my cash.
Because Daddy's gonna get paid by his hoe. That's what's up. Bottom bitch knows who gets the cash.
Terrible. Terrible.
No, I was the martini was after I was done. While I was on the deck, I did happen to have a flask of a little Oban.
Nice.
So I figured a little chill in the air, need a little whiskey out the E there, a little something to take the old edge off.
Nice.
And yeah, it was a fun weekend. That was fun sending everybody out, just come in, be the charming, wonderful man that I am, and then just walk away.
Nice.
Leave them all wanting more. You know how it goes.
All right. Is that what they call it, Mel?
I guess so.
Is that what roped you in with that wrinkled trench coat back in the day?
I mean,
that'd leave you wanting more.
Never overpromise and deliver.
Producer Mel.
Yes, sir.
Do you want a beverage for the shows or no?
What are my choices?
I don't know. I'm going to go out and take a look. But
I'd like a beverage.
Okay, I will get you a beverage then. All right, very good. Well, then let's take a quick break. You guys can talk to the cameras.
We literally just started the stream.
I know. I'm saying stop sound check. Stop fucking sound check is what I'm saying.
Did we ever start it? hang out.
Perfect way to stop. Fucking tools. I shall be right back.
10. What is today? Oh, Katie's supposed to be having a baby today.
Yeah, except she already did.
Yeah, baby's 2 weeks old.
Nice.
And I did not watch much of the Villa game because Abby's game was very interesting.
How'd that go?
You know what? She's the best goalie on the team. Now, that's not saying much for 6-year-olds. But she's the only one that like goes after the ball.
Right.
All the other kids are like waiting for the ball to get kicked to them.
Yeah.
Oh no. Abby's going into the shit.
Right.
And then there was one where she dove for the ball. I swear to God, I don't even know what she was thinking. She's 6 years old. She's insane. I love her.
That's awesome.
And she hurt her hip. The goal went in. She didn't get it. Okay, dove, stretched, tumbled. She didn't fall, but she didn't, whatever. And her hip hurts, and she's crying because they went through and all the other Severna Park bombs, which time out on that story.
Okay.
I understand it's Severna Park bombs, but I am not exaggerating when I'm telling you. I was the only woman wearing jeans. Everybody else is in leggings.
Yoga pants. Yeah.
Everybody else. I'm texting my sister that. She's like, yeah, what did you expect? I'm like, well, you didn't give me the fucking dress code.
Right.
So then like, oh my God, is she okay? Is she okay? And I'm like, she's fine. I walk over there. Abby, what's up? Are you hurt? Are you mad you missed the ball? Well, right here's a little sore. And she's rubbing her hip and whatever. And I'm like, all right, well, that was a really hard one to get to. The fact that you went for it at all was really cool. But
Right.
you got to get back in the game. So you know what we need to do now? Now, at this moment, I don't know if this child was 8, 10 years old, but this redheaded girl in a ponytail and a goalie jersey comes on over to help give Abby a pep talk.
Nice.
And I go, and she's like, well, I saw that and it was so good. You stretched out for it. And are you hurt? You're okay? And I'm like, well, Abby, do you know what we need to do right now? And I guess this girl has an uncle like Sam and has parents that raised her right. Because I reached down into the earth and I said, Abby, do you know what we do now? And the little girl finished my sentence. She grabbed a hunk of dirt and she said, rub some dirt on it and get back in the game.
Love it.
I didn't even have to do it. The 8-year-old did it. And so 8-year-old rubbing it on her leg. She's probably like 10. I'm rubbing it on my very new clean jeans. Then there's Abby. Okay. Got it. I'm okay.
All the moms are judging you because now you have dirty pants.
I don't fucking care. And then I'm like walking back and I look back in the goal to check on her. I see her just picking up more dirt and just rubbing it on her leg. And so later I
That's
said,
great.
hey, Danny, there's a couple things I taught Abby today. Danny goes, fuck, I'm Mel.
Yeah.
First, when you see her rubbing dirt or has extra dirt, I taught her that's how you
Feel better after
feel
getting
better.
hurt. Yeah.
All right, I can deal with that. What's the other thing you taught her? Going rogue. We're driving home from soccer. We see like a little trunk or treat off in the distance. Snappy goes, that looks like fun. I go, you want to go? We can do that? Heck yeah, we're going rogue.
Breaking the law.
I called her mom. Hey, yeah, we found a street festival. We'll be home later. Next thing I know, Danny, where you guys at? We're going to come find. So we had ourselves an afternoon on Saturday.
Nice. There you
Taught her
go.
rub some dirt on it
Yep.
and going rogue.
Exactly. Well
Sweet.
done.
It's a lot better than the hugging that happens at Cameron's games.
Aw. I'm surprised Cameron's down with the hugging and not like, I'm going to murder you.
Yeah, so she's a very sweet kid. I figured out also that their first year of soccer is unteaching all of the we need to share,
Right.
don't hit,
Right.
don't everything that you've taught them their entire lives to be good at daycare or good at preschool or whatever. And then you let them cross those white lines. You go kill, murder, smash, steal, and they're like, "What do you mean?" And then it's their classmates they're playing against because it's a local league, obviously. So they,
Right.
go see fucking Bam Bam from school, and they're just hugging in the middle of the field while the game's happening around them. And the little dickhead in school is scoring goals.
Right.
We have to unteach like, listen, all right, when you're inside the soccer field or inside the baseball diamond or whatever,
There are no friends.
there are no friends. Right. But as soon as the whistle blows and the game's over, hug on them all you want. Fine. You know what I mean?
Hands,
But,
give them a hug, tell them you love them, tell them how great they are.
But
all the
yeah,
good
so
stuff.
we're still in the unlearning phase.
Yeah. Too funny.
There's at least one hug mid-game every game still.
Perfect.
Yeah, when they turn
I'm sure
6.
lots of running off the field crying too.
One kid, that same dickhead kid, runs to the playground that's within sight of the field.
Just, that's where
every
I'm
week.
going. Just going to the
Last
playground.
week, he didn't come back for about 2 quarters. Then ran straight onto the field, which we now had an extra player on, stole the ball, scored a goal, and then ran back to the playground.
All right, so I've
Fucking
got my
annoying.
first spam message.
Okay.
So I have signed up on a new streaming service,
Okay. What's that?
Kick.
All right. Is that footy?
No, it's like Twitch.
Okay, got
It's
it.
another version of Twitch, but
Cool.
they also have a podcast category.
Sounds
and
great.
I heard about it from the Lieutenant Dan saga. Because he was offered a Kick deal, and that's what he threw up. I'm like, what the fuck is a Kick deal? And I remember that was one of the things in Restream. So I'm like, hey, we'll be on Kick.
Very good. So what was the spam message you got?
Oh, it was just, I see your channel is fantastic. We are here to promote you. We're Money Dollar. Find us now on Discord.
Oh yeah. All that fun shit.
Yep.
Get those every day.
Reading in Pain says soccer field equals octagon.
Part one
It
thing.
should, yes.
One thing I
Not for
get
3-year-olds.
every single day now is a text going, "Great job opportunity for you. Would you be interested?"
Yeah.
No,
Right.
thank you. No. Like, how do y'all know?
So that part of the other reason, by the way, never mind. I'll tell you later. It's
Okay,
fine.
very good. All right, we ready to do a show, kids?
Let's rock and roll.
I mean, I've been ready for like an hour.
Your mom's ready.
Is your mom back where she belongs?
Yes, she is.
Okay, good.
This is Simon Torres, Arsenal supporter of Charm City Gooners. You are listening to DU Football Show, and I'm here to tell you that it could be worse. You could be an Everton fan.
I don't know. Mickey Keggers seemed to fucking rip a hole in the back of the net.
What was that? Out of fucking nowhere.
He's good for that once a year. Once a year, you get the Mickey Keggers.
Yeah, but not like that, though.
And then it's all the claims that we need to have Mickey Keggers be our second striker.
But not like that, though.
He's done that.
I was
He did that against Tottenham.
Oh, I don't, not that angle.
Let's start the show.
Born in the land of Bowie, Maryland. Bred to be a fan of fucking Everton. Punch you in the eye and drink your rye. Sam Houston.
Sam Houston?
Arsenal fans have another Sam. AKA the fucking Gooner Graham. Snub of my lord. Looks great in shorts. Sam Graham, hey.
Sam Graham.
Fucking United! Fucking United!
Hello and welcome to the DU Football Show, a completely biased recap of the English Premier League as told by two common American schmucks. I'm your host, Sam Houston, and across the way from me, a man that needs to lay off the salted meat and the alcoholic beverages, my co-host, Mr. Samuel Graham. How we doing, big boy?
I forgot to tell you. Felt a lot better on Sunday, obviously. Felt like $1 million. No problem whatsoever. A little tired, but other than that, fine. But I had had 2, 4 a.m. nights in the past 4 days.
How'd that Sunday
Right.
night go for you?
Sunday night was fine. Everything was great.
Well, normally you play poker and end up falling
Played
asleep
poker.
on the couch at 3 o'clock in the
Didn't
morning.
drink a drop. Played poker, but you know what I did do all day? Mel?
What?
I had been curing a pork belly for 5 days, so I smoked it. And then I had 2 pieces of pork belly before I went to bed.
Of course you did.
And it was delicious. And guess what I
Naughty,
had before I
naughty
came
boy.
in?
Some pork belly.
I made
And you
myself.
didn't bring any?
I made myself a BLT.
We're recording at the DU Public House just outside the nation's capital. You can check us out wherever you get your pods. And, of course, streaming live every single Monday night Should you want to chat with us, there is many ways that you can. Mr. Graham, tell the good people how they can get in touch.
If you are one that is hard to learn lessons like I am, I'm going to reiterate to you one more time. It's dufootballshow@gmail.com to get in touch via email, and at dufootballshow on all the social medias.
Absolutely brilliant. Yeah, a little bit of back and forth. The TikTok channel is starting to get a little bit of play.
A little traction.
Yeah. I love it. Been making sure to give shout outs to people that leave comments and all that good kind of stuff.
There you go. Look
Mel's,
at you.
Mel's going to teach me how to do the little video to the comment kind of thing and do comments back and shit like that.
Okay.
So, yeah, just call me TikTok Sam.
No.
I'm still waiting for you to put one of them fucking dances through.
Sam, myself, both work in the wine and spirit industry and both have a deep passion and love for all things distilled spirit. So as the red-blooded Americans we are, we vow to have a drink in our hand throughout this show and every single show. Mr. Graham, another little unicorn.
Yes,
Tell
it
us
is.
all about it.
It is unicorn season. So, Sazerac has 2 ways in which one can get a barrel, apparently. And I did not know this. One of those ways is just being high enough up on their allocation list
Of course.
and getting a barrel through the distributor as, you know, thank you for doing so much business. The other way is as a private citizen or a charity, you could put your name into a lottery, into the 2 separate lotteries, one for charities and one for just normal people. A man that lives nearby that goes through Allview typically for his bourbons and passes things for his charity through Allview, because in the state of Maryland, to be legal, it has to be sold through a distributor to a retail account,
Absolutely.
blah, 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 blah.
You cannot just individually buy a bottle and buy a
Correct.
barrel and go, this is my barrel, send it to my house.
As a private person, he was selected via the lottery. He chose to still use that whiskey for his charity,
Okay.
though. So he was putting on some bourbon dinners, having raffles for bottles, that kind of stuff. It's a veterans charity. It was great. He was leaving Justin with a couple of bottles, or a couple of cases, rather, to use also for the charity. And it is a Weller Full-Proof barrel, which is pretty cool. So he is a actual bourbon podcaster as well. He put Bourbon Notes, there it is the name of the podcast. But he does runs a veterans charity, and it's a very noble cause. So to buy a bottle from Justin, he only had a few. Said he only got 2 cases of it, and they are 6-packs, and I think they are all gone now. I respectfully asked for one, and I still donated $50 to the charity to make sure that the charity was still taken care of, for making sure I was taken care of.
And
So-
this is one of those bottles that even when it's allocated in on the shelf, is not on the shelf for long. These disappear.
No,
quickly.
and it's one that is still marked up highly because it doesn't come out very often.
right.
Anyway, yeah, so it's pretty good. 114 proof. This one, like I said, it was chosen by Bourbon Notes, which is the guy's podcast, but for his charity, which off the top of my head I can't remember the name of it, and I apologize for that, but I will find that and put that on the socials at some point. But it's a Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey from Weller. It's a wheater. It is absolutely delicious.
Primary difference between a wheater and a regular bourbon, Sam.
Higher wheat content.
Yeah, you use wheat instead of rye. So
Yeah.
bourbon is typically predominantly corn, little bit of barley to get the party started, and then most bourbons are rye mixed in there.
Right.
Like Woodford would be the prime example.
To give it some body. Because what you and I have both found typically, I'm not a fan of wheaters personally, typically,
I like wheaters.
because I feel they are a bit thin normally. Like, I don't like makers. For me, you need extra barrel or proof for a wheater to have the roundness and complexity that I like. Other than that, to me, it's just sweet and alcohol, and that's it.
Right.
In normal wheaters, like regular Weller. Not a huge fan, to be honest with you. It's just sweet and booze. So
Respectfully disagree. I think wheaters have their place just like a regular. bourbon
they have
does.
their place. It's just
And I think
in the
they're very
bottom
good.
of a glass where ginger ale's poured on top of it.
I think they're very good.
But they need proof or they need extra aging. This has both, and it's fucking delicious.
It is magnificent. Like I said, you just don't find Wellers very often. You can find regular Weller, but you're not going to find foolproofs anywhere.
Foolproof 12-year-old.
No, you're just not. They're hard to come by, and when you do find them, they are going to be expensive as hell. That's just what they are. These get the markup just like the BTAC and the Pappies get. These
Not as hefty, but yes.
but they
very
get
much
they
so.
get very much get a markup.
I get a little allspice on the front, like baking spice, like a cinnamon or clove kind of. It's delicious, man.
Honey sweet, a lot of honey.
Honey on the back end, vanilla, good caramel structure as well.
Just the right
Tidy.
amount of heat that just kind of warms the throat, but doesn't really
Doesn't burn.
Right, it's exceptional. Mel, you got yourself a little glass. What'd you think? No, okay, all right. Well, sorry there, Mel. Anywho, we'll keep it going. What would you say? Now, this is obviously a single barrel, but what do you normally see Weller Foolproof on the shelf for when you do see it?
Whoa. I mean, it ranges because every store does things differently. I would say you're probably around 250, 200, 250 in that sort of range. 12-year tends to be marked up to about 300.
Yeah,
Those are all quite high,
got it.
but that's kind of the going rate,
Yeah, very good.
which is a bit, obviously annoying.
And what else should we always do, Mr.
Always
Graham?
remember to drink responsibly.
Yeah, especially you, or else we end up in special places.
Don't
on
worry
some
about it.
Saturday
Just
nights.
keep going. Cheers.
Let's have a good show,
have a very good show.
everybody. All right. We open with some first half chess matches that became routes in the second half. Tottenham 4, West Ham 1, Villa 3, Fulham 1, Leicester 3, Southampton 2. Irons go out and get an early lead. And here's the thing. There's really not a lot to talk about in the first half other than Irons get a lead, Spurs equalize, and then the guy that was the playmaker for that goal gets subbed out at halftime with Madison. I mean, that's really the only real speaking part of the first half of this match.
Well, so the Hammers actually, I thought at least, imposed themselves very well in the first few minutes of the game.
Yeah.
Right? Kudus had the initial chance, which was saved. Very
Right.
good save, by the way.
Yeah.
And then an almost identical chance that he scored on, which was great play from Bowen and kind of disjointed play from Tottenham clearing a ball. I think it was following a corner. It was kind of recycled, came back in, Bowen cut back for Kudus that scored. Kulusevski equalized, as you say.
Yeah.
It's always nice, satisfying when a goal hits both posts.
Oh, yeah. That ding ding.
Yeah, I don't mind that, except for the fact that Areola got fingertips to it and I think could have done better.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't disagree.
Now, that being said, he may have seen it a touch late. There were bodies in front of him, I'm not sure, but I definitely think he could have done better. And yeah, as you say, first half that was it.
Well, and
That was the whole first half.
what was it that Ange saw that went, the guy who got us the assist and one of our best playmakers on the pitch, yeah, I'm subbing him out at halftime. And here's the thing, it fucking worked.
Well-
It worked like a charm.
That front four for them, I think, especially Yves Bissouma, if you remember for Brighton, I thought was best suited to playing an 8 when he had Moises Caicedo behind him. Sometimes they flip-flopped and he held and Caicedo went, but I thought Bissouma at least 3 or 4 times a game fancied himself in and around the box and kind of out of position for a holding midfielder. Possibly thought that maybe the team was unbalanced. Maybe Madison has a little fatigue or carrying some sort of a knock. He was left out of the latest England squad, obviously, despite a decent start to the season. So I don't know if he had, if this was kind of planned. Maybe he has some sort of carrying some sort of little niggling injury or something like that, potentially. But I think they obviously right after halftime, they did look much more balanced, much more in control, Tottenham, than when they had Bissouma and Madison on the field with the front three of Kulusevski, Brennan Johnson, and Heung-min Son.
Yeah. It also felt like it wasn't... Obviously, West Ham did not perform well to open the second half, but it almost felt more like Tottenham was just impressing their will on top of the
On top of West Ham.
right,
Yeah.
and that West Ham just couldn't get themselves going. Like they were just like, the fuck is happening? And next thing you know, they turn around. It's in 10 minutes. It's 4-1.
Right.
You have something produced, Mel?
Yeah, the Sewing Circle, Smokey and Shorebelly are both curious. How does Bowen not get the assist for that kudos goal and goal shouldn't have stood?
Well, the assist, yeah, that should have been Bowen. Should have.
Yeah, I
gotten the
mean, he
assist for
crossed,
it.
he passed the ball to him.
Yeah.
I'm not sure where he doesn't get the assist for that.
Yeah, exactly.
Did it take more than one deflection? I don't think it did.
No, it should have been Bowen that gotten the assist for that.
I don't see a reason why. Unless it took a deflection, and that's the bookie ways of fucking everybody.
Right, could be.
But even a deflected shot is a shot on target.
Which one of you guys are thinking not a goal? Because I thought
I didn't see anything wrong with the play in general.
Well, and then all three in the second half I felt were just
Smokey
straightforward.
said Kulu's goal shouldn't have stood.
I didn't see anything wrong with it.
Oh,
I don't-
Kulishevsky's goal? No, I didn't see anything
I don't
wrong with it
remember
either.
anything off the top of my head that stood out.
No. Oh, that's hey, don't worry. I'm sure we'll have somebody else across the table making a bunch
I'm
of
sure
excuses.
Lopetegui didn't even clock it, and David Moyes would have more of a complaint and a reason why it shouldn't have stood. But
Well,
he's just more tactically aware, you know.
Again, for me, with this, it wasn't so much that West Ham was terrible. It was just Tottenham somehow became a buzzsaw in 8
Well,
minutes.
but here's my issue, and this has happened multiple times to West Ham this season. It also happened a lot this weekend. Just 6 minutes after halftime, Basuma gets the goal,
yeah.
and it was a very simple passage of play, in my opinion, that West Ham should have been able to deal with, and they just didn't. Just nobody took responsibility to step out to that ball.
Right.
On two occasions, because if I remember correctly, it was played across the edge of the 18 initially. So it just, for me, and it's got to be super frustrating as a coach, because no coach goes in there and is that tactically stupid that it happens all the time. I think it has to be something to do with the players and their focus coming out from halftime.
Got it.
Has to be. And this has happened multiple times to West Ham this season. But again, this weekend, there were a lot of goals between 3 and 5 minutes after the restart. And it's so fucking frustrating.
My little.
It's like we just spent the last 20 minutes over a cup of tea discussing what the fuck to do. And you go out and you can't seem to get it done. It's just, I would lose my shit.
So Everton was 15 minutes behind the rest of the game. So I did my halftime check-in 15 minutes behind. So while I was doing my halftime check-in, all the goals were happening.
Right.
So everything I just said on the halftime check-in was fuck all.
Oh, yeah. Well, there's been times.
I immediately
yeah.
posted and went, well, this aged well.
There's been times where, like, I've gone to smoke and then come back, and then I'm sitting there, I do the video, and then I finish my cigarette, post it, and within 4 minutes, the games restart, and everything I've just said is dead.
You're like everybody just.
What a fucking idiot. I hate that.
So we're going to get to the kudos red that could have been 4 reds.
4
in
reds.
a
It's
minute.
4 and 1. Oh, yeah.
He
was giving a 3-for-1 special
fuck
there.
everyone is what he said. But
A little man on a mission.
I want to challenge us to get away from doing we both are guilty of this, where we'll kind of lean on a crutch and say, well, it's this, right? Well, you had Moyes, it's Lopetegui, blah, 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 blah.
I literally only do that to fuck with Smokey now.
So here's where I want to go with this. It is obvious that Lopetegui is your coach. This is who you are. This is where you're moving to. But I would also say it is very obvious that this year's team, West Ham, I do not feel challenges for Europe unless they suddenly get something incredibly right. I see them as a team that will beat the bad teams and lose to the good ones and finish somewhere in 9th or 10th. If that's the case, you have to stick with Lopetegui. He has to be your man. He has to be your man going into next year. If you are making a, quote, drastic switch, you can't do what you've done before with like Simon Billick, and where you just get rid of coaches. You are going to have to see this through, which means you are going to be frustrated when teams like Villa and Tottenham, who've already really put the stones to you, will put the stones to you, and Arsenal will put the stones to you, and City will put the stones, and you got to be fucking okay with that, because if you're trying to do, quote, a culture change in how your philosophy of playing, you're just going to have to deal with it. That's just what you're going to have to do.
Yeah, I mean, that's absolutely true. But what I will say to that is they have not really been doing a ton of that, to be completely fair to them. West Ham have lost to Spurs, obviously.
Right. They lost to Villa.
Just before the break, they lost to they did beat Ipswich, but they drew Brentford. I feel like that game's there for the taking.
Right.
Even though it's away from home, Brentford haven't particularly impressed me this season so
Well,
far.
they impressed in the first 2 minutes.
You go Chelsea, still trying to figure out who they are. At home, you lose 3-0, right? At some stage, you do have to play some semblance of defense. And this is where I say this is the one leg I think I do stand on when comparing Moyes to Lopetegui outside of just fucking with Smokey. Is he understood his squad's limitations and played a certain way to grind results.
Right.
And there were results he got against teams that were better than him that you typically wouldn't have gotten. And that did put you in those European places. The issue with Lopetegui is he's a system manager. He will manage this system, and this is the system they will play. I don't know. I haven't seen a plan B yet in any capacity. Have you?
No, but
But then what? Then how do you break out of it? Because as of right now, they're in 15th. They've dropped to 15th with a -4 goal differential and 8 points. And don't think I'm wrong in saying in the previous 2 seasons under David Moyes, they were higher than this after the first 7 games.
And they're going to beat Southampton
Or 8
when they
games.
play them. They're going to beat Leicester when they play them. They'll likely beat Everton when they play them.
I
They're
hope
gonna
so.
Beat Palace when they play. They're going to beat the teams. They're going to finish in 9th place. But the thing for me is if this is the idea, then you better fucking stick with it. Don't, as West Ham fans love to do, if they're not fucking doing great, everybody will start to yell and scream, we got the coach's head. Well, fuck you. You're going to have to deal with this now. This is the guy.
Right, and to be fair to Smokey, he
The
is.
system.
To be fair to Smokey, he's defended him
very
to the
much so.
hilt.
But I'm talking about the rest of West
But
Ham
what I will
supporters,
say-
which Smokey very quickly would say, yeah, my supporting brethren are fucking lunatics.
But here we go, right? You have managed to avoid relegation over the last few seasons, the too big to go down. West Ham, in very recent memory, have not.
True.
But this was the discourse the entire fucking season. Too big to go down, too big to go down. Have fun in the championship, my friends.
Oh.
Right?
I don't think they're any.
I don't think they are either. But if he doesn't start turning shit around a bit, and they do lose to a Leicester, the Dildo brothers may pull the trigger.
Yeah. Well,
And Leicester seem to be the ones that would be able to hurt them.
all right, so final thought on this game, because I want to move on to the other 2 games because they were fucking crazy as well. But kudos. So could have gotten a red for kicking
Van der Ven.
the first time. Could have gotten a red for kicking him the second time. Definitely got the red for pushing him in the face. You know what? Fair enough. Didn't deserve any card. Richarlison just ran into him and tried to do some Brazilian shit.
That was weird.
But after all of that, the one he connects with the hardest, we got you just 1 second, producer Mel. The one he connects with the hardest, Basuma, who he really gets a hand on him. Basuma doesn't move or go to the ground. Basuma just looks at him like,
I'm going to kill you now.
now you die.
It was great. It was absolutely great. I mean, Kudus was on a one-man Ghanaian Napoleon mission there. He was trying to take over the fucking stadium, wasn't he? Kicking Van der Ven twice, obviously.
Go ahead, producer Mel.
My sports world says Kudos wants Arsenal so badly he scores and gets a red card just to show he fits as a gooner.
I would venture to say that most of our Reds are not deserved. Just saying. And they're not, most of them, actually 99% of them are not for violent conduct.
Yeah, no,
so
they're
he
normally
wouldn't fit in.
Stupid boneheaded shit.
Yeah, that isn't really stupid bonehead shit.
Yeah, you normally do stupid boneheaded
That's
shit.
referees trying to make it about themselves, actually, is what it is.
And giving referees a decision to
Just
make is
saying.
what you're doing.
Yeah.
Anyways, but I just found that very humorous. Do you think he gets an extra game for this? I think he does.
He could.
I think he sees a 4-game ban.
He absolutely could. Because of the multitude of issues.
Well, I think it's specifically for the Basuma one at the end, because the way they handled VAR, they didn't even look at that. They only looked at the hands to the face on Van der Ven because that's what he got.
Which is the other
yellow
thing
card
that
for.
surprises me, right?
Right.
Because he's a much shorter man than Mickey Van der Ven. He actually had to try to hit him in the face.
Oh, he was both of them.
Well, yeah.
Ed Basuma, that was intentional. That was
But there's
not,
no
that was
reason.
not,
If you
I pushed you in the chest and my hand went up. That was.
But that's what I'm
gonna
saying. If
smack
you just
in
push
your
him in the
face.
chest, it's a yellow card. If you just push him in the chest, it's a yellow
Yeah.
card. The second you go after someone's head, you're in big trouble.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened. Now, I do also just briefly want to talk about Gus Frerotte. Richarlison, real quick, who is so uncoordinated that he busted his own face on Kudus' shoulder
He's just running
and
into
then
him.
fell down, tried to get Kudus sent off for it. Now, Richarlison,
As I said, he
needs
tried to do
to.
some Brazilian shit.
he needs to pay attention to what Cole Palmer did in that melee that Chelsea had a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Cole Palmer is dumb as a doornail. He's a lot like Jack Grealish.
Right.
Not smart. Okay? He knows he's not the sharpest tool in the shed. He knows that he is just an object, not even a blunt object. He's just an object. When that melee was going down, Cole Palmer sat down and just watched it.
Yeah.
Not defended his teammates, not tried to help, not tried to do anything. He knew that he was useless.
Yeah.
So he just sat down and watched it happen. Richarlison looked like a bird. He's got that big ass nose.
Oh, the
he
pigeon.
looked like a bird flying into a window.
Yeah, he just,
a recently
it was
washed
too-
window.
It was
fucking
too funny.
idiot.
It was too fucking funny.
What a jackass.
All right, so keeping it moving. Villa find themselves in a deficit yet again. They love to give up the lead early, don't they?
Well, yeah, and I was just very surprised by the because I've been impressed with him so far this season. The kind of weakness there of Pau Torres in that passage of play.
Yeah.
To get out muscled like that by Raul Jimenez, because he's not particularly fast
Well, I was
either.
gonna say Jimenez is a wily veteran, but you should not be being beat in a foot race against a wily veteran.
No, now there was a little tug back and a shoulder to shoulder, but Pau Torres should not be getting bumped off that ball.
No. And if you do get bumped off that ball,
And
you
I
should
think-
get back to
And
it.
I think Martinez should have done better too with the shot.
I don't disagree. Do not disagree at all.
I mean, he's too busy humping shit,
You know, that's,
as you per usual.
well, actually, it would be humping nothing because it's always the air that he's humping.
Fair,
So,
yeah.
what is
He
he?
saved a penalty and you're knocking on him.
We haven't gotten that part
right.
yet.
Right.
We talk about things as they happened.
So Villa clearly.
You're telling me that. Did you get that irony?
Yeah. Okay, I got you. But Villa answer quickly, get right back into the match.
Yes, they do. Very much so. Morgan Rogers. It was a deflected effort, but a solid effort nonetheless, and drew them level. And then the first half
I'm
kind
a
of
big fan of Morgan.
petered out.
Yeah.
Really, there were a couple of chances here or there. You obviously then have the penalty, but Emmy bailed.
Yeah.
Emmy bailed Villa out of it.
Yeah,
You know, obviously
right.
saving the pen. It was a very poor penalty as well.
Did you see his thing to the crowd?
Did he throw up a wank?
He kissed his badge and blew him a kiss.
Nice. There you go.
Well,
love him.
Well, Fulham being
gotta
Fulham.
teach
I just
Abby
normally his
Oh,
celebrations
oh,
are
kind
phallic
of.
related,
Yeah.
so
I can teach
I
Abby
just
that one.
assumed. Yeah.
So, but second half, again, another game where second half comes out quick. There's a quick goal, and then next thing you know, red card.
Now, first, I real quick want to revisit the penalty. Was this a bit harsh on Matty Cash? Now his arms away from his body.
Yeah.
But he was jumping. Everyone
Yeah.
jumps like with their arms to balance themselves.
Where are you supposed to put your arm?
But the proximity from which the ball was hit into his arm, I
Yeah.
don't think is quite fair. But if your arm is that extended from your body, I mean, that is something that is consistently called.
Cash has kind of got a reputation for doing shit on purpose.
Yeah, all right, fair enough.
You know, he's kind of that guy.
Yeah. But anyway, as you say, in just a few, kind of minutes in the second half, he had Ollie Watkins
I know.
with
Can
a
we talk
powerful
about
header.
that for a
It was
moment?
great header.
His air game and just the freaking nut muscles on that dude.
Nut muscles.
Neck.
Oh, sorry.
Neck. I mean, it's amazing. His head game is fantastic.
Show title, nut muscles.
His head game is fantastic. Either one.
Either one.
Either
nut
one.
muscles or his head game's fantastic.
Look for that in your podcast app.
and with that, the other thing too in that, Graham, is that you just kind of felt like at that point you're like, oh,
It's done now.
It's done
Yeah.
now. Like this is what Villa's been doing all season. The
Exactly.
minute Villa gets their foot back in the door or Villa gets the lead, you're like, yep, that was fun while it lasted for you. Other
Once they-
side, and it doesn't matter who they're playing. You're just like that was fun.
Once we get warmed up, we be fucking.
The problem is, the problem is the getting warmed up part.
Right.
Well,
Well,
I
and-
mean, come on, guys. You know.
What, I mean, what are they supposed to do? Like, is the opponent supposed to like kiss them on the neck, blow in their ear or something? Like, get them
Right.
I
riled
mean, it
up?
would be nice if there was at least
'em
some better
riled up.
music.
Like, tell me he's pretty. Like, is that
Stadium
what you're
announcer
supposed
just
to do?
stadium announcer pregame is just bounce chicka wow wow.
No. I've been reading the shine, baby. Let's just get what's got to
Or
kick on.
get some of that old Buck Cherry, yeah,
Get
crazy
some, let's
bitch.
get it on.
I like.
Speaking of sexy,
Yeah.
That should be the next one we do. Random thing is 20 teams' entrance songs. What we think they should be based on the personality of the team.
could I participate
like
in
that.
that? I could absolutely participate in that.
I like it.
Yes, please,
Let's
please.
do one of those one day soon. I like
got you.
those.
So, fuck, I lost my train of thought. 28-17.
Crazy train, Chelsea.
Yeah.
No, we were talking about sexy.
They already are using that.
And I was sad when we lost, the most sexiest of them all, Douglas Luiz. But Tillemans has really stepped into that part great. He's not as obviously sexy, but my God, is he fulfilling that
But he's got a
role.
great personality, Sam.
Oh, damn! He is the unsung hero, and he is showing off, and he is one of Emmy's best tools right now. And guys, stop, grow up. I'm done. Villa fucks. Moving
All right.
on.
So, Mr. Graham, the own goal obviously puts the game to bed. Here's my question for you. I'm gonna fuck up his name. The one who got the second yellow, Philippine, the fullback for Villa. The second yellow card for me, that was pretty fucking soft.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for pushing Joachim Anderson or whoever it
'Cause
was.
It wasn't even Joachim was already off the pitch. He had already gotten.
Oh,
the red.
he'd gotten a red for pushing
He can
Ollie Watkins
say-
over. That's right.
He
Yeah.
can
Well,
say soft, and you don't giggle.
for touching Ollie Watkins, because soft isn't exciting, Mel. Erect is exciting. Would you want to play with a flaccid one? I don't think so, right?
Everybody, producer Mel has got her back completely turned to Graham and will not look at him right now.
She can see me on the screen now.
Suddenly, this show has taken a turn. Yeah, for me, it was outside the box, and yeah, he got a hand on him, but it wasn't like he was like really.
I
it was
thought
just
both
like,
second yellows were soft.
I was just like, huh? Yeah, really?
Yes.
So you thought both second yellows were soft.
I did.
You're just wanting to accentuate the word soft, aren't you?
I want her to laugh and like me again.
All right, let's go on to the next match.
Comical own goal.
yes,
Obviously
yes,
rounded
of
out the
course.
scoring.
Yeah,
It was
the
very
bouncing around.
comical own goal.
Now, here's the other thing, though. One last thing to say about this. For Fulham, this is disappointing because you're kind of in and around it right now, and you probably want to show a better case for yourself. But you're playing a smart, well fucking organized team that's probably going to finish in the top 4 again.
Yeah,
Like,
and if
so-
not top 5, I
Right.
don't see Villa outside the top 5 at all.
Yeah, exactly.
But they will be Champions League or Europa League for sure, in my
I
opinion.
completely agree.
Even if they can't manage the course load, even if they can't manage the course load, once they get knocked out of the Champions League, I think they'll go on a run
Oh yeah.
and pick themselves up the league. If for whatever reason they fall behind as the fixtures start coming thicker and faster.
Agreed. Producer Mel, you had something for us?
Highlights in the chat. Sure, Billy, I can't even try to visualize SFW nut muscles. Moss Sports World, salty nut muscles. I pulled my hairy nut muscles.
Very good. All right, we are 30 minutes in, and we're not even done with the first segment yet, so we got to keep it rolling.
Nut mushrooms are funny.
So Saints pull out to a quick 2-0 lead, but it's not like Leicester didn't have chances in the first half. It was like a almost surprising 2-0 lead.
Well, so here's the thing, right? Post first international break, and I did not steal it, but I did hear these stats from a couple of different outlets over the since the game occurred. Prior to the first international break, Southampton were in the top 3 of possession that they could not figure out how to do anything with. conceded a shit ton of goals because they left themselves open.
Yes.
If you notice in this game, which probably would have been their first real opportunity to try and play that way against a fellow promoted side, they decided to attempt to soak shit up and hit them on the counter. And now that worked for a while. Obviously, 2-0 up.
Right.
Great. Cameron Archer, not unfamiliar to us with some goals, but he was part of that Sheffield United side that was absolutely terrible. The Dobbins, the young kid, got booked for a dive, which was pretty funny. It was a sad, sorry attempt at a dive as well. But Aribo also stayed composed with Archer picking up the assist there.
Yep.
But they were both kind of counterattacky type goals. They weren't made from possession. They were made from the counter, or at least a relatively quick break.
Leicester put one off the post. They put a couple just wide. Ramsdale came up with a few big saves in the first
But you also have to remember the most of Leicester's squad were Premier League players. Mm-hmm. Leicester were excellent in the Championship. And they have a decent, by all accounts, Premier League manager, where Russell Martin is not a Premier League manager.
Yeah.
And I think they got out-coached in the second half, is really what it boils down to.
Well, before we get to the mayhem that happens with all of that, I do want to bring up this one thing because it'll make you happy. Wout Faes with a beautiful diving header.
Oh, bro.
That Hermansen made the save on.
Bro.
I mean, an excellent save. The problem is Hermansen is his fucking goalkeeper, and it was almost an own goal.
It was. Do you remember? Was it Jefferson Lerma for Bournemouth against Arsenal? Do you remember this?
Yeah, the little looper that dipped
No. This was the rocket.
Oh yeah, that one.
It was a fucking bullet into the top corner, but it was an own goal.
Right. The problem is you scored it on yourself.
Yeah. That is what this reminded me of. It was that much of a great effort.
Oh, Hermansen full stretch backwards dive, barely knocks it over the post. I was like, that was almost a brilliant diving header.
It was
into your
nuts.
own net.
It was fucking nuts. But then on top of that, Wout Faes just gets up and just shaking his head like, sorry, man, forgot where I was for a minute. My bad.
Whatever.
Totally meant to do that, actually. I apologize.
Just lost my mind for a moment. And, of course, the Foxes score, and then comes the red card, which, for all the shit we give VAR, that is exactly what VAR is supposed to be there for.
The Ryan Fraser horse collar on
grabbing Vardy by the back and pulling him away, because Vardy would have tapped that ball in.
Yes.
That ball absolutely would have been a goal. There's no doubt about it. And that's the kind of stuff that when we used to bitch about calls being missed, that is exactly the call that used to be missed, and that is exactly why you do have VAR, because VAR catches that specific thing.
And Kudus trying to box everyone Royal Rumble style.
Yeah, pretty much.
The other thing I do want to say about this too.
Yeah, by the way, first segment, we've already got 4 red cards.
I know.
Detect the theme this weekend?
Yeah. What I will say, real quick about Ryan Fraser, 9 minutes on the field.
Yep.
1 of 2 passing.
Uh-huh.
He only attempted 2 passes, 1 of which he completed. Red card.
Red card. Pulled Jamie Vardy. Red card.
As my understanding that his paycheck went through into his account as lovely old job.
Fucking hysterical.
Minimal effort, 20 grand in the bank.
But now going to what you had said prior, that's it. I mean, it's out coaching, because little by little, once they got to that 2-2, there was a couple of chances for Southampton, but they were on the counter.
And they were down to 10 men. I mean, to be fair to them.
But you just felt like it was going to happen. And, of course, it was going to be the jackass Jordan Ayew.
Yes. Now, the other thing, not the goal that bothers me necessarily, but obviously the goalkeeper didn't come up. Leicester didn't have every person in the box, right? So even though there's only 10 men on the field, you should still be able to cover man for man, because not their entire team was in the box.
Right, of course.
And this is what surprised me about Russell Martin, because all through the championship, all through the first part of the season, he's been very collective. We stand by each other. We don't do. He didn't name them, but he singled out a player. We needed one person to do their job, and they didn't do it. And that smacks of I'm under fucking pressure.
Yeah. They're blaming me for how badly we're doing. Worth mentioning, they have not gotten a victory now in 21 straight Premier League games.
Yeah.
From when they were recently
I
up.
believe that's a club record for them.
Not good at all.
I haven't heard much out of Kenny lately, other than he's
Anger.
There's one or two just like, what the fuck are we doing? But that's all he says. He doesn't even comment back.
Yeah. Not.
That sucks.
Kenny, we're here for you, man. We love you.
Yeah, and just think about it. It was only a third of the goals you shipped to him last time.
Hey, good news. We're going to need correspondence for the EFL show next year.
God damn.
Top of the table saw 3 affairs, but each varied in results as 2 of the top 3 have now suffered a defeat this season. Bournemouth 2, Arsenal 0, Man City 2, Wolverhampton 1, Liverpool 2, Chelsea 1.
Say, listen, Muhammad Kudus, don't go for anyone else's neck. Relax.
I hear you. Just an absolute, I mean, you guys, you tend to start slow. You tend to I think you need to start being a little more ruthless early, you know?
I think part of the problem is we are not as confident and creative going forward without Martin Odegaard.
Yeah. No, that's true.
Anybody
Very true.
that's
anybody
that's
big.
playing, we lack a bit of dynamism without him.
If
it's
we're
all
gonna
very it's all very mechanical without him.
Yeah,
There's
if we're
no
going to be
creative
critical
flair.
of City not having Rodri, it's equally as fair to be critical of Arsenal without Odegaard. The 30th minute was just a comedy of fucking errors.
Yeah, the other thing I will say briefly on that one point though is this is the we've said this before about many people that have gone down injured. Usually it's about goalkeepers. Yeah. That if somebody comes in, they're good for 3 or 4 games, and then after that, it's like now you know why they ride the bench. We're starting to see that with Trossard. Yeah. Why he's an impact sub rather than a starter.
Well, and he does his whole the I'm quiet thing when he scored the game winner, about a month ago, and then he turns around and
does nothing really, other than affect us negatively,
or do the most boneheaded backward pass ever.
Yeah, that was. I heard it described as ambitious.
Just.
I'm not sure what he was thinking. Now, at first, when I was first watching the replay, because I didn't hear the announcers saying anything really about what had happened. This may have been the part in which I dozed off as well. All I heard was Saliba was the last man.
Right.
When I was watching the replay, to make sure I drilled down the notes appropriately, I didn't realize he passed it back at first. Mm-hmm. And I was like, he's offside. This shouldn't have been a thing.
Right.
And then I backed up again. I was like, yeah, he's definitely offside. And then I focused on the ball and I was like, oh, Trossard fucking played it on purpose.
Yeah. Trossard.
Idiot.
Just fucking idiotic pass back.
All you have to do is trap that ball. Defender's right on your back. He's going to foul you. Just take the ball down and get hit.
Right.
Relieve the pressure.
Right. And so I've heard some people go, well, the distance from goal doesn't mean it's the last defender. Doesn't matter if it's the last defender. Doesn't mean it's a clear-cut scoring
I would
opportunity.
only agree with that if it happened on their side of the field.
Right. And for me, too, it's then, okay, if that's the case, then you as a defender, why are you grabbing the guy? Why aren't you then just... If there's this mad, silly amount of room for him to still have to make ground to score a goal, then why aren't you as a defender just trying to chase him down?
So initially, I don't think that's Saliba's first intention.
Yeah.
I think Evan Nilsson makes a very smart run and cuts in front of Saliba and messes up his stride. So he grabs his shoulder to regain his jump.
And I certainly don't think that it was intentional. But
I think it was a very smart run by Evan Nilsson.
I think that's a reactionary thing that just about any player would do anywhere. The problem is
100%.
The problem is you're the last guy.
Yeah.
That's going to be a red.
There was a brief moment that I thought Ben White might have been able to cover. Yeah. But when they showed it from the vantage point of the Bournemouth goal, you see how far Ben White actually is away from the play. Yeah. And there's no way he's covering at all. And when they showed it from the normal TV angle, he looked closer because he was in the frame. But like I said, when you look at it from that vantage point, from that Bournemouth side of the pitch, you could see that he's probably 35, 40 yards wide of where Saliba is.
He ain't
Like,
getting
it's
there.
not even close.
Right.
It's not. That's a non-starter.
And yet again, for the third time this season, you find yourselves down to 10 men.
Again, and none of them's for violent conduct.
No.
And William Saliba's first red card in his top flight career.
Right.
I think that was Declan Rice's second red card in his career. And Trossard, I'm not sure how many he had prior to, but this is all very out of character for all of the Arsenal players that are doing them.
Yeah, just a lot of
weird.
It's a lot of bonehead, because kind of it's what it ends up kind of being.
Yeah, well, a lot of them too are also kind of just biased, because we saw what happened with Wolves and somebody else kicking the ball away and not getting a second yellow. Just saying.
Well,
In the same game?
the one
the same
thing,
half.
the one thing that I think we don't do enough of when a game like this happens. All credit to the Cherries. They took the fucking game to you guys. They did not. They were fucking going for it.
Now,
And
Arsenal did have a couple of chances.
of course, because you're one of the fucking best teams in Europe. Like, that's going to like, you're going to have your chances. A lot of times a team will just go, here's a chance to get a 0-0. Maybe we can get a goal. Like,
Yeah, and
the
Areola.
Cherries went at them. They went at you.
Areola and Arteta are like childhood friends. They've known each other a fuck long time.
Yeah.
So I think is one to I got a chance to get over my boy.
Yeah.
You know, kind of thing as well. But no, Bournemouth are a well-coached team. They're organized. They, more often than not, they do their job. I was worried about how they were going to be without Solanke. They are okay without Solanke. This season so far, they've turned in some very good performances.
They
and,
could
this
really
was
use a focal person. Evan Elson's
young.
I think can become that player, but it's going to take a
He's
little
young.
while. But considering that this is a team that very much is using their finances to improve their overall lot in life, the better stadium, better training grounds, things of that nature, they're still finding a way to be right in the furniture and not going down. And which is, if that's how you're trying to build your organization, they're doing a good job of it. And this was a great fucking win for them. Period.
Oh, huge.
Just a fucking
Absolutely
massive
huge.
fucking win.
And Raya, I don't think with the penalty, I don't think Raya really had much option. I'm not sure that he should have come out that aggressively necessarily. Maybe stay home.
Yeah.
I think he was shaping to shoot from that position as he was running onto the ball first time, and maybe staying on your line, you had a better chance of saving it.
Yeah.
Especially with some of the other boneheaded plays he had made in that game.
Yeah.
Raya, before the red card, even just a pass out from the back directly to a Bournemouth player, spilling a ball and then having to make a great save to back it up, so you didn't give up a goal then. Just some stupid shit from Raya a couple times. I think this may have been a bit of a rash decision from him for that second goal. But once the second goal went in, that was it.
Yeah.
The one mistake I think Arteta made was, I think there should have been an extra defensive midfielder put on, and you should have brought on Martinelli for Trossard.
Mm-hmm.
Keep Havertz up top as a focal point and Martinelli running off of him. You give yourself a chance, because for a fact Bournemouth is going to push now.
Right.
Bournemouth is going to try to get a winner, especially at home.
And on a counter, you want Martinelli's legs.
You need Martinelli's legs, and you need Kai Havertz to finish.
Yeah.
And I think you waited too long to put Martinelli on, and I think that was a mistake.
Yeah,
But
agreed.
all credit to Bournemouth. I mean, they did everything they were supposed to do, and we're the set-piece kings over the last 2 seasons, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're the set-piece kings. And they had a fantastic training ground set piece that came off and was brilliant, and Christie finished that off to give them the lead in the first place. So
Mr. Graham,
well done to him.
Which poison would you like? Barrel aged, or do you want white girl mistakes and some pumpkin spice?
It's Halloween.
Yeah, let's have a little pumpkin.
Let's have a little
spice.
pumpkin spice in our lives.
Give it a little shake there. Get any?
Pumpkin spice sediment up.
Yeah,
Thanks.
gotta make sure. That's important. It's important. I care for you, Mr. Graham. And
This is only my 3rd time in a year and a half.
yeah, but it's one tonight, and that's all that matters. And producer Mel and myself, neither one of us are. So here you go. There you are. Have a little fun with that.
So here we are with the very overpriced Jens Malort.
It apparently all went to charity.
Oh, good. Never mind then. It was not overpriced. It was just expensive.
Yeah.
But for a good cause. Jepson Malort limited edition pumpkin spice, which was distillery only. But as we always say, do not ever doubt Sam and I's ability to come across something we want.
If we want it, we will find it. Enjoy your white girl mistake.
It's okay.
Tastes like white girl's mistakes. Right there.
It's okay.
It's okay. It's going to be all right.
Oh.
Yeah, feeling that good about it, huh?
Yeah. I'm fine.
Yeah, you're fine. Everything's going to be okay.
Everything's going to be okay.
Everything is awesome.
Everything is awesome. When you're part of the team.
Keeping it moving. Wolves score quickly behind number 1 overall draft pick.
Stand up and be counted. Stand up and be counted.
Jurgen Strand Larson gets the quick goal, but City do what they do and they level before the end of the half. Here was the big one. Gravenol now has had a couple of those kind of outside shots. And when we talk about missing Rodri, that's what Rodri does well.
Yes.
When teams pack it in, Rodri rips off a couple of shots that starts to make you stay honest and normally puts a couple
And
of them
drag
away.
you out a little bit. Oh, shit, we have to come out and create that little pocket of space. Yep.
That goal from Gravenol definitely did that.
Yep.
But Wolves held serve, man. They looked great through the entire second half, and then somehow 5 extra days got added to the end of the match. And
Yeah, no shit. Fuck. I don't know where that stoppage time came from. I really don't.
it came from City needs 3 points, and we got to make sure they got time to do that.
You know what? The other thing, and I am going to be one of the fangirls of Arsenal real quick, and unconventional defenders of something. Liverpool supporters and City supporters over the last couple of years have accused Arsenal of celebrating and doing stuff when they haven't won anything on just a basic ass game, like
Right.
beating Liverpool, and Odegaard was taking pictures with the photographer's camera who was retiring that no one seemed to care about. But just that the celebration was ridiculous. Did you see the way the City players celebrated the VAR decision for the winning goal? Run, fuck off.
Yeah.
Be humble, huh?
Now, here's my thing. Okay, fine. You could say Silva ducked. Now we won't, as in I'm about to do it right now, bring up the fact that I remember
Don't
Gylfi
defend Gylfi.
Sigurdsson
Don't defend Gylfi Sigurdsson.
sitting
He's
on the ground.
he's in
sitting,
jail.
No, he's not. He
is that- okay, good.
Sitting on the ground while 6'6" David De Gea watched the ball go by him.
Shoulder height.
And VAR went, I think he kind of obstructed his sight line there. So you're going to tell
I knew you were
me
going to fucking bring it up.
Bernardo Silva backing that ass up and then bending down didn't distract Jose
At all.
at all. Not one bit.
Sure didn't.
Not at all.
Fuckers, man.
I just, well, and even at that point, okay, he had already stopped him from being able to come off the line as well. So it's like, there's not a, I get where there's not a foul, right? Like a player's allowed to stand and impede your path, right? And you can't hold them back, but you could stand in front of them and impede their path. But how he's clearly offsides, but how he is not involved in the play because all he did was bend down is completely beyond me.
To be fair, again, from the vantage point of midfield looking towards the goal, it appears as though he moves to the left, to the left of goal from as you're shooting at it.
Yeah.
And the goalkeeper and the ball was played to the right side of him. And his shin is flat on the ground and he's on his knees, like the little bitch he is.
Tell us how you really feel.
But yeah, it's unfortunate. I think it should have been disallowed personally. I really do. But you know what? The Vardiol strike was worth 3 points. To be honest, it was a venomous,
banger.
excellent
It was a
strike.
fucking banger.
Yeah,
And also,
but I can see how Wolves feel hard done, and you know
well,
the rest of us, Liverpool, Arsenal, Villa, everybody feels that pain with you.
couple that with City. It should have never gotten to that point in the first place.
Correct.
You are the at that time, with if you got the win, the first place team, and they are at the time the 19th place team, like, and at one point the last place team because Southampton was up 2-0. You got to do better than that. I mean, I understand Wolves are a thorn in your side. They have been a lot. They beat you last year. Like, they're a tough out for you. But come on. Like, that's not something you should be fucking celebrating, boys.
No, it's not. Stay humble, huh?
That's like beating Coventry City on penalties. You shouldn't be fucking celebrating that one, fucking Andy. You should be like the rest of the team and just going, yeah, probably should have won. Good game. We'll be at the final. Bye. Like, and walk the fuck away. Walk off the pitch.
Exactly.
Honestly, Chelsea were the better side in this match through almost all of it.
Now, what I'm finding, I am nervous about this new iteration of Liverpool, which isn't really a new iteration because they didn't really sign anyone. It's just the manager has been his ability to identify and check his own ego. This is what's good with this team. I'm not going to fuck with that.
Right.
This is what I need to improve. And what he's done has been, basically just to improve their composure, to not be so emotionally led.
Right.
Other than that, he hasn't really fucked with the team. And they're responding in excellent fashion. He is the fastest manager to 10 Premier League wins minus Pep Guardiola.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like during a season. And I think he may be the fastest to 10 Premier League wins as a manager, like a first-time manager in the Premier League, period.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, he's doing something right, the old slot machine. Looks like he's hitting the jackpot, Mel.
Yeah.
He's got 3 cherries. After wins, he probably goes to the bar. Come on.
You're done. I'm bailing you out. You're finished. You're done.
I was trying to make a 777s one, but I couldn't figure it out.
I would have to say that this was an impressive showing from Chelsea, even in the defeat.
Yes. Now, the other thing I will say is Cole Palmer was the first time I've seen him actually stifled since he's burst onto the scene against. And Curtis Jones was phenomenal.
It's been what Arne Slot's done defensively with that team. When you talk about what it is, checking your ego and what this is what I need to fix, I need this team to be more stable on defense.
Yep.
And the reason why I need this team to be more stable on defense, and they weren't stable before, is because everybody else was running all over the place. I'm now going to make them play a little more composed.
Yep.
And because of that, you're not going to get goals. And it just... We have this on-again, off-again thought process about Chelsea, particularly considering like that draw with Forest, just kind of blowing it. This says a lot more about this Chelsea team than everything else so far. This team, to me, it's them or Villa for 4th, and the other one is 5th. I really think this Chelsea team they're not going to be in the conversation for the title, but I think they're getting where they need to be.
I think that may be a step too far for them. This season.
Yeah.
But with everybody locked into such long-term deals, with obviously a very coherent manager in who they have now in Enzo Maresca, I think this season could be a very strong 5th or 6th. Maybe just missing out by 3 to 5 points like Spurs did on Villa last year. Yeah. And then next season, I think they kick on potentially into the top 4.
Yeah.
And potentially challenge for the title. Having another season under their belt where they've kind of figured it out. Their entire starting 11 can't go for anywhere for 8 years unless they sell them on. So because of the amortization payments on the millions and billions of transfer dollars that they spent on those players.
But final thought, Liverpool so far, it's like, where are they? What are they? This was the first check for are they going to be title contenders? The next one, next weekend at Arsenal.
We'll see what happens. I'm a little nervous. Hopefully, we get some help, and Allison's still out.
All right, we're almost to an hour, so we're going to got to keep this one quick. But really, there's not a ton to say about any of
there's
these
not.
matches. Rounding out the rest of the league, and what is really so that happened.
There's been no truer so that happened in a very long time.
Yeah. Everton 2, Ipswich 0, Man United 2, Brentford 1, Brighton 1, Newcastle 0, Forest 1, Palace 0. I'm amazed because normally this is the kind of game that Everton would that. Everton did exactly what I said they were going to do. I said that they were going to soak up pressure and counter, and Ipswich was going to have problems with Everton. That this is exactly the wrong team to be playing for Ipswich.
I knew Everton were going to win the game, possibly draw, of course, because they can have a gaff, but probably going to win the game in the 4th minute.
Okay.
When Jack Clark skied that very simple effort,
Yeah, that should have been.
I knew it was not going to be Ipswich's day, because that goes in. You can start some backline infighting. Jordan Pickford starts screaming at people.
Yep.
Everyone gets pissed off and doesn't try as hard sometimes. Keane gets flustered because he doesn't like being yelled at.
Yeah.
Whatever it is.
Right.
That goal goes in. Things could have been very different. But as soon as he skied that, I knew that Everton were going to be fine.
So I will talk about the penalty, but I want, if there's anything you'd like to cover about this match, go right ahead, and then I'll get to where I wanted to get to with the penalty.
I feel bad for Wes Burns because largely he had a decent game.
Yeah.
And he was put in a pretty piss poor position by the bad defensive header after a very hopeful ball from Jack Harrison.
Yeah.
Number one, I think the goalkeeper could have came and got it. First, I was at the corner of the 6, and that was looping.
Mm-hmm.
Defender should have flicked it on for a corner.
Right.
Shouldn't have tried to head it out.
Right.
There's no way you can generate the requisite power needed to clear that ball. Instead, he kind of gets a upward little duffed header that loops to his own player 3 yards away from him.
Yeah.
That he traps down to the inside. Now here's where he made a mistake. Traps it to the inside and then gets it taken off his foot by Ndiaye.
Yeah.
And then everybody just goes, what the fuck just happened? Oh, shit, it's in the back of the net. Because nobody moved.
I will say for Everton, Ndiaye is exactly the creative type of player they've been missing since Gordon and Richarlison. They desperately needed that guy, and he is it, and he's been phenomenal.
And then I have one more dad joke, and I think I'm done for the day. I'm looking over my notes now, and
talk
there's
about Mickey
nothing
fucking
else.
Keggers.
No, what I'm going to say is they switched off, didn't they?
Yeah, they did Ipswich off. The non penalty call. I would say the following. I believe that there is a debate that could have been called a penalty. That same thing happened 2 weeks ago when Dan Burn did it, Calvert-Lewin. It didn't get called. That exact same thing happened the first week of the season with Lewis Dunk on Dominic Calvert-Lewin. So I will say the following. At least VAR has consistently gotten it wrong.
Yeah.
So it's 2-1, and I feel like the PGMLO still owes us one. So
I mean, you've played sports.
Yeah.
If you're going to be bad, at least be bad consistently across both teams.
So at least they've gotten that call wrong. For the 3 times Everton has dealt with it, they've gotten that call wrong all 3 times.
Right.
1 benefited us, 2 didn't. And we'll leave it at that. And still, to this day, right now, Ipswich and Southampton still looking for wins as the newly promoted sides. Only Leicester has won 2. The Bees did something different. So instead of scoring at the very start of the half, they decided to score at the very end of the half.
If I was them, I'd ask for a refund of my season ticket.
It was...
I've become accustomed to scoring within the first 2 minutes.
Yeah, like I'm here to be entertained. Why did it take you 45 plus 4 to do it?
Exactly. I'm surprised this is an instance where a halftime team talk worked because United looked much more coherent in the second half. Actually playing with some sort of gumption, spreading the ball wide, pressing. They looked interested for a change.
The right players were the ones on the score sheet, the ones creating the goals. You know, Fernandez with a great assist, Garnacho with a goal, Højlund with a goal off of a good Rashford assist. Like that's what you need to see. Now, the problem is it almost feels like a stay of execution. It's like, oh, okay, well, this is just like last year. Remember when they got their asses kicked really bad and we were talking about how terrible they were, and then they went on this run of like 2 months where they beat really shitty teams 2-1?
Right. Or 1-0 in boring
That's-
ass games. Yeah.
Like, that's what it feels like all over again.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It does feel like Ole's final couple of months in charge.
Yeah, it's just not.
I you know what? I will say this. I thought they actually signed him. Obviously, the FA signed Thomas Tuchel to be the new England manager.
Right, of course.
Which we don't cover a ton of international football here, but it should go. And one of his first interviews, he did say, "I'm sorry, I have a German passport," which is funny. But I don't know how he's going to feel when they do the 10 German Bomber song.
Yeah.
Ooh, it's going to be that awkward, isn't it?
Awkward.
Yeah. But what I will say about that though is I honestly believed that was a play by Tuchel's camp to get Man United to fire Ten Hag because he wanted the United job.
Yeah.
I thought he was putting that link out there. His camp was putting that link out there themselves to force United's hand and go, shit, we might miss out on Thomas Tuchel
Yeah.
because he's the only top-level manager available right now.
For some reason, I think they might go for Southgate. I think that's what it might be.
Yeah, but he hasn't coached a club since Middlesbrough when they got deducted points because he didn't have his A badge.
Yeah, exactly.
His pro license, I'm sorry. He only had his A levels, and he was, yeah. So I don't know how he would be as a club coach, and I do know it'd be very boring.
Yeah. Brighton and Newcastle. Here's the funny thing. This game was pretty much a dead even match. Other than Newcastle fell asleep at the wheel once. And that one time they fell asleep at the wheel was in the back of the net.
I will say, though, that if William Saliba's tackle was a red card, de-shoeing somebody should be a red card as well.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I'll give you that.
And then the whistle was blown for offside, and Dan Burn continued to loop the ball into the back of the net.
Yeah.
If that's not kicking away, I don't know what is.
Again, fair enough.
If the D-shoed fits,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
just do something about it. I thought I was done, but I just came up with that one. That fourth baby's hitting hard, man.
Yeah,
I'm telling you what.
Yeah, the dad is flowing through you. Well, I mean, if you know what, I wouldn't
High blood pressure and all.
I wouldn't be a good friend if I didn't say the following. That suit, little snug. Started to put on them dad pounds there.
Fuck off, man.
Stud.
It's sympathy weight. Drop off after she has the baby.
You do have to give
Stress is a great weight loss plan.
Ben Bergen a lot of credit. He did have a hell of a game in the sticks for
Brighton. Yes,
made a bunch of
he
saves.
did make a fair few saves.
He had one with Gordon that Gordon had pretty much you would have thought was going in, and he made a great diving save on that.
But how about Welbeck's start to the season? Fucking hell.
A little disconcerting. Obviously, he went off injured, so you worry about that. But
especially at his age.
yeah,
But those couple of touches to kind of power through the two Newcastle defenders, first to take the ball under control in general, then as he was closed down to evade both of them, and then still have the composure to find the only space available to him where Nick Pope was not.
right, exactly.
That was brilliant. It's what he missed at United and Arsenal, really. Even though we loved him, great personality, always worked hard, everything else, and he did score a fair amount of goals, but not anything near what his potential was. I love seeing him actually realizing that potential. I hope United fans do as well, because he's old enough now that he should be an elder statesman in the league. He is an elder statesman. He's been around a long time. But now I think that was his sixth or seventh goal in the season now. That's fucking well done, man.
Yeah, watch his ass end up scoring like 14, 15 this year.
I'm really enjoying it. I like it a lot.
Look at that little run from him,
Yeah, I like it a lot.
Old man Danny Ings style and some shit,
Yeah.
So 3 thoughts on the Nottingham Forest and Palace match. The first 2 are kind of throwaways. The third one will be for real. The first one is Nottingham Forest and Crystal Palace played a professional football match in the English Premier League today on Monday. Chris Wood scores again. Shocker. This time, at least, it was with his feet, and it was a little bit away from goal.
About outside the box.
Yeah,
just about.
Not inside the 6 with his head, which is normally what he does.
And he should have had one with the diving header that he normally
he
buries.
He missed a couple. And Palace put a few off the post. There was one phenomenal save from Sells off of the free kick. Yeah, off one of the most basic free kicks that's ever existed that Palace Forest didn't just step out to. Now, here's the thought, and this is where I want you to kind of pontificate a little bit more. I keep feeling like we're waiting for each team to be who they really are, which is we expect Forest to fall back to the pack, and we expect Palace to be much better than they are. But the problem is this who they are?
And Nketiah needs service, and he needs consistency. He doesn't consistently get that service. He needs 5 or 6 chances to put goals away.
Right.
He doesn't regularly get 5 or 6 chances a game. He's not clinical enough. By that means, which is why he didn't start for Arsenal, he should be on the bench and Mateta should be starting, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Love the kid. He works hard, but you just don't deliver on a regular basis.
Right.
From Forrest's perspective, I think you're finally seeing the Nuno effect. This is what he did at Wolves for 3 years. They were organized. They had a few more flair players that were better consistently in Jimenez and Pedro Neto.
Right.
And then now we see the same kind of with Wolves.
And Jota as well.
And Jota, you're right, exactly, before the switch to Liverpool. But you also have now, you're kind of seeing Cunha fill that role, but he's an Aït-Nouri from left back, which is weird in the current iteration of Wolves, which could be part of the reason they leave holes at the back sometimes. Mm-hmm. But in terms of Forest, Elanga, good, not great, doesn't really show up consistently. Hudson-Odoi, much better, but we've seen already he's kind of a one-trick pony as an inverted winger. He's only able to cut the ball inside and either cross or shoot, and that's it. And there's no left-footed. There's no
Gibbs White because of the red card, but normally that's
that fucking kid
puller.
Anderson was dribbling around people like it was his job.
Yeah, he was. Anderson had himself a day.
See if you remember this name from Arsenal's days. Not a prolific goal scorer, but it felt like his boots had fucking Velcro on them. Alexander Hleb. Do you remember him? The Belarusian international.
Yep.
Didn't do particularly great things for the Gunners, but goddamn would he fancy a dribble. Yeah. That kid Anderson today, in about a 15-second passage of play, beat 8 Crystal Palace players. Nothing came of it, but it was just fucking fun to watch.
Yeah.
I just enjoy that so much. But this is what Nuno did. He seems to have gotten back to basics, right? When he was at Wolves, before Jimenez's injury and subsequent kind of change into being scared to play football for 2 years, Nuno was organized and he let his flair players kind of handle some things. And then he got a little big of himself and was like, we're going to play expansive football. And it didn't go so hot. And they had a relegation fear and he got fired. And then, he got his head turned by Tottenham, then went to Tottenham, couldn't handle a big job, went to Forest, right? Forest are in a perfect spot. They are a big club, but they haven't been here in a very long time, and they just barely scraped by survival last season. So they need somebody that can. What he has done has been get back to basics for what he likes to do. He's recognized the players he has, like Maresca. He's trimmed down the squad quite a bit. He's kind of frozen some players out he knows he's not going to use, and they are just organized and solid, and they allow the same 4 or 5 players to kind of express themselves to change a game, right? And that is Elanga and Hudson-Odoi stretching the field, Gibbs White really creating through the middle, this kid Anderson coming in occasionally and creating some stuff, and then just bash it into Chris Wood because he's hot right now. But in terms of this game, now that I'm done with real things to say about it, this game was as dumb as Chris Wood's face.
Sure money.
I had some other thoughts, but you know what? Nah.
I just hate his face. His eyes are too close together. He just looks like an idiot. Respectfully.
Yeah, that's just that's sometimes there's just a good finish to a segment. That was a good finish to a segment.
1-0, I just didn't. There's nothing else to talk about. Just isn't.
Yeah, it was a dog shit match.
It was a terrible game.
All four of them were not good matches.
No. Anyway,
I'm an Everton supporter. My match fucking sucked. It was a boring ass match.
most of you know that this is sarcastic normally, you know, Shore Money, because I'm down $700 and that makes total sense. I've lost every bet this season so far.
Right.
But somebody actually seems to be taking it seriously this year.
You mean like I have before? That is right. My bet hit, and you saw it on TikTok. So I am up now $606.
Big Sam's Lock of the Week.
I hate everything about this.
28.571429% of the time. Works 100% of the time, Mr. Graham. You know what? Last week was 2 Road Dog parlay. This week, I'm going to do another 2 parlay with kind of crazy odds, but I'm feeling it, and I like this one.
But I'm feeling it.
I am taking a 2-leg parlay of draws.
Okay, that's specific.
2 draws.
It's going to be hard.
I got West Ham and Man United drawing, and I've got Chelsea and Newcastle drawing. That happens plus 1380.
That's hefty. I don't think that's going to happen.
I'm going for it.
All right.
You know what?
Good.
You know what happens?
That means I'm going to do some catching up.
I no, you're not, because you're going to be down $800, and I am going to be up $500.
Not when you hear this.
Okay.
Not good gambling.
And here we go with my bet, ladies and gents. So I've got a 3-legged same game with 2 extra legs attached. So I've got
9-way parlay.
what did I say? 3, 4. It's only 5. So I've got City to win, over 3.5 in the game, Holland to score 2 or more. Barely scraping by against Wolves in the manner in which they did. Usually when City have a blip, somebody gonna get to real bad.
And
Southampton are
is
not very
awful.
good, and City are at home. So I think this is going to be a bit of a blowout. This, I think, is the most guaranteed part of the bet, all 3 of those things.
Very good.
Then I have Villa over Bournemouth. Villa are at home. I like that, even though I think they do have Champions League games midweek. I still fancy them to get over the line.
Bologna.
Well done. Well done. The processed meat Derby. I don't know what Villa has to do with that. Sounded like something to say. But Villa to beat Bournemouth.
You don't get a hi hat for that one, because it wasn't
very good.
Joke.
It was terrible, actually. I think Bournemouth won't do well away from home this week. That's why. And then Brighton over Wolves, because Wolves aren't very good.
Okay.
And Brighton have been decent enough. That all together garners me plus 860. So I will be in the positive should all this come through. And I think it might.
No, it's not.
Holland's only going to score 1, hit the post 4 times. Or some
Oh,
shit.
that would make me giggle if if
fucking-
everything else hits and Healy scores 1 goal.
I would can this segment. I'd be done with it.
That I think he would then at the post presser be like, I could have scored 2, but I wanted to keep Graham humble.
I heard the DU football show this week.
Because of course he has. It's gonna wrap it up, boys and girls. Mr. Graham, any parting words?
I don't think so. I think I'm good. Although there was a manager, I didn't get a chance to finish reading the stories. One of my kids started crying, but there is an owner, that fired his manager live on a post-match press conference.
Wow.
But I didn't get a chance to finish reading the story. TalkSport, if you look up TalkSport on Facebook, they shared the article from The Sun, which they couldn't even make up, right? But yeah, some owner fired his manager live in a post-match. That's kind of a douchey cut move in it.
Very douchey.
Come on, man. D-back.
Very bad.
That'd be it.
Alrighty. Well, that is going to wrap it up. Like I said, why am I saying that again? I said it already.
It's all right.
Next up,
Just put a bell.
next up is, I haven't said that one in a
For
while.
those, because you said 6 years worth of it in one show.
Yes, I
If
did.
you know, you know. If you've been around for a long time, you'd remember that.
Next up is DU Does EFL, where we're going to recap the rest of the English Football League. And then we do Injury Time, which is our preview show. Should somebody want to find our extra content, Mr. Graham, how do they go about doing it?
It's very easy. It's patreon.com/DU Football Show. There's only one $5 tier. Sign up to that, and you will get all of the extra content one way or another, whether or not you know how to use the interwebs or not.
Very good.
Sure, Billy.
Until next week, everyone.
Stan Larson. Good night.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
Hi, everybody.
Porn voice brought to you by Weed.
Yeah, exactly. Mel Houston porn voice.
Well, you guys are making fun of me. You're like, wait, I can make it so everyone can hear me.
I know.
I don't think everyone's still listening. Sure, Billy, thanks for the show, guys.
Well, that's what we do.
That's what we do.
That's what we do. We do a show. What we do a show every Monday.
I don't know how many people are checking in. Oh, he's there. He says we. Sure, Billy, our very own Lieutenant Dan. His wedding anniversary pictures look so good.
Oh, they did.
I want to be friends with his wife. She looks fun.
Mr. Grimm, I did forget to mention to you down to the old 382.
Nice.
So I've lost 10 pounds since the last time I got weighed, which was like a month and a half
There you
ago.
go.
So,
Oh, yeah.
So slowly but surely losing
Good
a little
shit.
weight. Was wearing a few kits this weekend that was like, wow, this like actually got a little room in it. What the hell's going on here? That was very
Nice.
nice. I was happy. So,
It's awesome. Hard to do when you're in a boot for 6 weeks or whatever it was.
yeah, just major changes to overall consumption.
Nice.
You know, just not eating a ton. I'm still eating, but I'm just not like, if I got a fast food meal, I get a sandwich and a soda, not a meal and an extra sandwich.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
So it's just not overdoing it is the key thing. That's
Good.
what it's really been. And now I can start incorporating some exercise into it too, which will be nice. So,
There you go.
all right, we ready to do a show? Mr. Graham, I don't have it in the notes because it needs to be said right now. We have a Victor Moses sighting.
Nice.
He's playing for Luton.
How old is he?
37.
Fucking get in.
The timeless Victor Moses.
That's right. Back from China, wasn't he?
Yep.
Nice.
It's-
Good for him.
Maybe they get promoted again and we see Victor Moses in the Prem one more
As a
time
38-year-old.
for Gerard to slip. Let's start the show.
Born in the land of Bowie, Maryland. Bred to be a fan of fucking Everton. Punch you in the eye and drink your rye. Sam Houston.
Sam Houston.
Arsenal fans have another Sam. AKA the fucking Gooner Graham. Stump of a lord. Look straight in shorts. Sam Grammy.
Sam Graham.
Fucking United! Fucking United!
Hello and welcome to DU Does EFL, a completely biased brief recap of the rest of the English Football League as told by two common American schmucks. I'm your host, Sam Houston, and across the way from me, just excited to know that Victor Moses is still playing, Mr. Samuel Graham.
I mean, he wouldn't be worse than Ashley Young
Like
if he came back into the Premier League.
that we will see that man playing like in League 2 at age 45. Right?
Probably.
It's definitely happening.
Yeah, could be. Could
Well,
definitely be.
especially considering like the professional leagues in Africa tend to be very corrupt because normally it's, you know, kind of dictators and dictators decide my son's going to play on this team and my son's going to be the top goal scorer in the league. And then people go, yeah, but he's not a very good footballer. Yeah, but you know,
Here's $1 million that says he is.
here's $1 million that says he is, and maybe I'll leave your town alone.
And Police Machine beat somebody 46-1.
Police Machine, I still love that name.
It's still the best name in
Fucking
world football, my
magnificent.
friend.
We're recording at the DU Public House just outside the nation's capital. You can check us out wherever you get your pods, and of course, streaming live every single Monday night. Should you want to chat with us, there's many ways that you can. Mr. Graham, tell the good people how they can get in
Of
touch.
course, it is at DU Football Show on all the social medias and dufootballshow@gmail.com to get in touch via
Very
email.
good. And I've reached out to a few more correspondents, and we're going to start getting a little more info for some people about their teams. So
Nice.
that's going to work out really well.
I like
Excited
that.
about that.
Yes,
Very
very much
excited
so.
about that.
Please, if you're a fan of a lower league side, holler at us.
Yeah, we'd love to hear from you. We are drinking the exact same shit we were just drinking in the last show, so let's get right to it.
Championship Corner!
I've fallen and I can't get up. Ow,
And now, the Blades suffered their first loss of the season at the hands of Leeds, 2-0 on Friday.
I am bored of Sheffield United coming up and down.
Yeah,
I'd like them to go away
I don't
for
want
a
them
couple
to be,
of seasons.
Yeah, I don't want them to be around either. I'm with you very much. Let's face it. We all want Sunderland up.
Yeah, oh yeah.
We want Tyneware.
Oh, yeah.
We want Tyneware
Twice in one season would be
big
brilliant.
fucking time. We
100%.
all want that, right?
Yes.
Like Newcastle supporters want that. Like Shore Billy, who's watching us right now, fucking wants
Yeah,
that.
absolutely.
Everybody wants that, you know?
100%.
And I think it's safe to say them. And then after that, it's like, yeah, you know what? The Prem's a better place with Leeds in it, right? Even though they're, everybody's kind of most hated team next to Manchester United. Everybody's like, fuck Leeds.
Yeah.
But they're good. They're good for
Just
that, right?
remember, Leeds are massive.
Right,
okay?
exactly. And so, but in the case of Sheffield, like, nah. Like,
Right.
let them stay in the championship and have a Sheffield derby with Wednesday.
With Wednesday. Just a couple, just a couple years.
Yeah, just let it
without
be
them.
what it is.
It's like Norwich. I got so bored with them coming up because like Ipswich are trying.
Mm-hmm.
Southampton are starting to get to the annoying me part. But like Ipswich are trying. It was fun to see Luton. They gave it a go. It was fun we like seeing someone new that we haven't seen before
Right.
at the very least in the Premier League.
Agreed. Or at least haven't seen in a while in the
that
case of Sunderland.
right? But it's these teams that come up, collect the TV money, and then go down without so much as a whimper. It's like,
Well, and then also don't really do anything to improve their lot, right? Like Bournemouth went down and invested that money into the club and made themselves better. Burnley, while under Dyche, had gone up and down 3 or 4 times, but then suddenly found themselves in Europe because
they actually invest in the
kept
club, right? They kept
investing
trying
into the club.
But that's
and
what I'm saying.
making
They're
them better.
trying, so it's
Right.
fine. I don't mind that. But when you see these like Norwich, essentially relegated by the end of February,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
just like, what's the point then?
Right. Right. Well, and we just kind of stopped
And that
talking
was
about
the
them.
last 2 times they came up.
Yeah, just stop talking
You know
about
what I
them.
mean? And it just bugs me.
So the lead at the top shuffled multiple times over the weekend. Burnley won on Saturday, and then only for Sunderland to turn around and win on Sunday. Now, would it surprise you to know that Burnley beat Wednesday on a Saturday? Just wanted to slide that one in there. That's my dad joke.
It'll always every week.
It'll work. I didn't write it in the notes because I wanted to tell you it. Because if I wrote it in the notes, you'd be like, "Well, here it comes." I get a better chuckle out of you if you don't
I
know
mean,
it's
it doesn't matter if they win. It'd be Wednesday one on a Saturday. It's the same thing. I love it.
So the top of the table currently is lined up as follows. We have Sunderland, Burnley, Leeds, Sheffield, West Brom, and Blackburn has made their way back in, all separated by only 4 points. So we are literally right now.
Well, Blackburn also had a very poor start to the season, really, by their standards of making or at least being close to the playoffs last season.
So there's gonna a lot of bounce around, an opportunity for a lot of parity, which is going to be fun. I'm sure not fun for those teams that are trying to get their asses back up. Blackburn's one I wouldn't mind seeing back up, considering they are a team that has won a Premier League title.
Bought a Premier League title, but yes.
Well, you know what? It's the exact same amount as Liverpool have. So. Which is one more than us, so I really can't say much more outside of that. Turning our attention to the bottom of the table, Pompey finally got a win. They beat QPR on a come from behind. They were down 1-0, scored 2 unanswered to beat QPR. But Cardiff got a giant win over Plymouth. They won 5-0.
Jesus, how long do you think Wayne Rooney lasts?
I don't know.
They've had a very poor start to the season, Plymouth.
Now Pompey, Cardiff jumped over Pompey in the standings, but the way it is now is Cardiff, Pompey, and QPR are now the bottom 3. So QPR's in dead last, which they've been flirting with this for a while now. These past couple of seasons have not gone well for them. But because this is the English Football League, would it surprise you to hear that everybody plays on Tuesday?
Nice.
And
so
then
there's a
everybody plays
chance
on
to
the
turn it
weekend.
around and properly start their season.
Pompey play Cardiff on Tuesday. So that game will have already happened when this show gets posted.
Yeah.
But that is one.
I like that.
I'm going to be out and about tomorrow. I think I might pop that one on the old radio and give it a listen.
Fancy a little punt on that one.
Yeah, there we
Maybe.
go. On to League One, where both Birmingham and Wrexham held serve, but Mansfield lost, so Wickham jumped them in the table to
Excuse me?
third. No. Morecambe gets pronounced
true. Fair
Morecambe.
enough.
Wickham
Fair
gets
enough. You're
pronounced
right.
Wickham, right?
Fair enough. You're
Because
right.
they also don't have like a
Shrimps.
shrimp, so you know.
Yeah, I forgot about the shrimps.
What's going to be out for Wakambi, right? Like, you know.
Massive cock. Out for Wakambi.
So, no, they're just Wickham. That's what we're going to let
That's a
them be.
proper salute. You get the maid entrance out.
Now, a couple notable matches for at the top of the table next week for the midweek. First, you have Huddersfield and Wrexham. Wrexham's going to be hosting that one. And then we have Birmingham head to Mansfield Town over the weekend. Mansfield's in fourth, so they just lost that one and slipped a little.
Yeah.
But they've been really good. I mean, we keep talking about Wrexham's meteoric rise. Mansfield's been right there with them on that ride.
Oh, yeah, the whole way. I mean, excuse me, weren't they? Or no, it was Notts County that they were. Two back-to-back seasons, wasn't it?
Right,
where
Notts
they were
County,
at like
well,
90
Notts
odd
County
points
went
or whatever,
up,
and then
Notts County
yeah.
went up with Wrexham, but last year Mansfield, who was kind of middle of the table the couple seasons prior,
was pushing
them in Stockport.
Right.
Those three teams
all the
were
way to the
battling
end.
to get to the top.
With like massive amounts of points.
And all three of them ended up with automatic promotion because
Right.
remember, three teams go up from League Two automatically. A fourth
Exactly
one goes
right.
up, and four teams come down from League One. So Mansfield is in the discussion there, and they've got a little bit of a local celebrity kind of ownership in their town as well, which is
nice.
it's a husband and wife team. So kind of not. It's not.
Like Ant and Dec? Like what?
Well, it's
husband
not-
and wife team? What does that mean?
It's a husband and wife that own the team together and both operate the team together.
Okay.
Yeah, and they're kind of local celebrities.
Both of them are. Okay, that's
local
what I mean.
business people, yeah.
Yeah, I meant as a team, like what do they do?
Yeah.
Is there shtick like Ant and Dec? Like do they host the pie eating contest
I
in
don't-
Mansfield? What
I
is
don't
the
think so. I don't know.
Doesn't sound like a town with a ton going on, to be honest with
I
you.
don't know much more.
Imagine if Houston and I owned a team.
He just became a local celebrity on Saturday.
Yes, well,
I've always been a local
Meanwhile,
celebrity.
while I was 2 miles away dying in a hospital.
yeah, but priorities. How was the next?
Yeah. And you were sat drinking a martini, which I probably needed at that point.
Reading got another big win as they won 4-1 over Crawley Town. They now move into 13th place on 16 points. They are 9 points clear of the drop right now. And as we talked about with their financial situations,
huge.
their ownership,
They
just
have to stay in.
getting as much wins as they can right now, get as close to 35 to 40 points as you can because
Potential point deductions are coming.
just January, he might sell the whole fucking team, right?
Which would be helpful. Look what it did for Everton.
Yeah. It may really hurt. They may have no one. They may just be playing like 16-year-old academy kids because they've sold fucking everyone.
Could be liquidated. They
so
could
it's-
cease to exist.
Yeah, so as many points as they can get right now, I don't think they'll be in a liquidation situation, but right now, points on the board is everything.
Oh,
Win
yeah.
as many fucking games
It's
as
huge.
you can.
It is huge. You're
And
absolutely
I
right.
wouldn't even be surprised if the coach is even saying that. Like, guys, you all may be sold by January, and I may be quitting by January. So we need to win as many fucking games as we
Well,
can.
the other
right
thing
now.
is not even to save Reading necessarily, but to save their own careers.
Yeah.
They're auditioning right now for somebody to buy them for decent money
Yeah. Yeah. Precisely.
and get out
Absolutely.
of that hellhole. You know, that proverbial hellhole.
One other notable, Bolton also got a win, and Bolton is now sitting in 11th, and they're like a point outside of the top 10. So they're
Okay.
starting to make their climb again. Remember,
They're
this
in
is
that
a
Man
team-
United spot.
Well,
top of the bottom half.
Yeah, top of the bottom half. But they were in the playoffs. They made it to the playoff final and did not have a very good outing against Oxford. And,
Yeah.
you know, it's a team I know we've been kind of keeping an eye on. But more importantly, finishing with League Two. Aki have now won 3 in a row. And we talked about the one. We didn't talk about the one over last weekend because we didn't do a show. Sammy, you ready to be excited?
I am.
They beat Gillingham.
come on. Fucking
beat
get it.
Gillingham 2-1, and then they turned around and beat Barrow this weekend 1-0. So they have now jumped all the way to 19th place.
That's what I'm saying. They borrowed those 3 points, didn't they?
You get it again. Wasn't that bad? That was a good one. You get the high ad for that one.
Appreciate it.
Unfortunately, Shrimps Out have fallen back to the bottom spot.
Oof.
Yeah, and it was they had gotten a win and a loss, and that loss is what dropped them down. So unfortunately, Shrimps Out,
No.
former combi.
Well, they've fallen back to the bottom spot. I hope they told her about it first. It's usually unwelcome if you're just jamming it. Or so I'm told.
That's the next show, Mr. Graham. That's the next show. The other one worth mentioning is Port Vale now find themselves at the top of the table. They have gone on an unbeaten streak of 8 in a row, only 2 draws and 6 wins. And that's funny because there's that little viral video that was out there of someone yelling like, "We're losing to Port fucking," it was a Dons fan. "We're losing to Port fucking Vale. What the fuck?"
We didn't win a single game last season, and now this season you're losing to Port Vale. Port fucking Vale. And then somebody from behind goes, and then he kicks the seat and he goes, "Fuck! It's fucking shit." And then you hear a disembodied voice from behind him, higher up in the stands, go, "Sit down and shut the fuck up." And he turns around and goes, "Fuck off."
Well, they're in first place right now.
If you want to see that video, I shared it maybe a week and a half ago on our closed Facebook group, which you should find because that's where most of the hashtag bans happen. That is the Drunken United FC on Facebook. Just request to join and answer the couple of simple questions. Agree to the cool shit, and then you'll be on your way.
Also, worth mentioning.
No, we'll get you approved because Sam and I have been banned as admins.
Yeah, exactly. More importantly, MK Dons proving why we hate them all. Were trolling Wimbledon about their pitch.
The club was?
Supporters of MK
Yeah,
Dons.
I knew that. There was a couple people that pretended like their screen name on the donation
Yeah, I remember
was you
this.
saw these were like the owner that moved the old Wimbledon to
Dons.
Milton Keynes, and they like he goes, "Hey, just wanted to give you all some of the profit from me buying the club or whatever it was," and then a $2 donation, like just shit talk.
Yeah.
Right. And yeah, so good. Fuck them.
I think in the next few weeks, I'll make sure we do a little check-in on the National League as well. We haven't done that yet this season.
Yes.
But worth mentioning, Doncaster is just 1 point behind them, and Wassell and Notts County are just 2 points behind first place Port Vale as well. So that
all pretty tight, and a lot of
very
these
tight.
in all these leagues. Actually, it's all pretty tight. It's still very early in these seasons, though. Remember, all of these leagues have 24 teams in them, so there's 6,642 games remaining in all of these leagues. So expect things to over the Christmas period, especially, kind of loosen up a little bit.
Well,
excuse me, but there are a lot of points up for grabs.
Yeah, because not only do you have you had it happen last month, it's going to happen this month, and it'll happen in November as well. With that international break, there will be a Tuesday matches, Saturday matches, Tuesday matches, Saturday matches, where it'll be 4 matches in under 14 days. And that just happens like crazy in this fucking league.
And it's just hard to do, right?
And it's that really separates things. That's when you see separation in the table, like how tight it is in.
If you looked week to week,
all three
and
at the
paid
top,
attention,
all
exactly
three leagues
right.
at the top are very fucking tight right now. You'll start to see some separation because everybody's playing so many fucking games.
Well, and the other thing
you
is
also see wackadoodle fucking results too.
You also see League One and League Two don't take a break, while the Championship does take a break, right? But there are some, especially smaller Eastern European nations, some of the Caribbean nations, some of the African nations, do have players playing in League One and League Two, and they will get called up to their national teams.
And what'll end up happening is half the games will get postponed, half of them won't. So then there's makeup matches. So next thing you know, oh, you've just made a cup run. You now play for the month of February, where there's 3.5 weeks where you should be maybe playing 3 matches. You end up playing 10.
Right.
Like
Exactly.
That shit happens all the time in the lower leagues.
Yeah,
So-
but if you only get one, like say you only have one player called up, it happens to be your top goal scorer, they don't suspend your game for that.
No,
What the
they
fuck
don't.
was that?
I don't know what the heck that was. I heard.
I thought somebody was in the
I
house.
literally thought somebody just walked in the house. Thank you, Mel. Good looking out.
Was that was you for sure, right?
Yeah, it was an audition.
The video.
Yeah. Whew.
I was ready to fuck somebody up,
I
bro.
had chills. Yeah,
Yeah, good. It was that.
it's still there. Yeah.
Somebody's about to get their fucking ass killed.
Hey, it's
Little did I know it was
October,
myself.
It's October. It's Halloween. Hey, Graham. Any parting words? Yeah. Mel, D-back.
Are you guys awake?
God damn. Could you drive me back to Anne Arundel, please? I just want to get the old ticker checked out again.
Oh, that made the old spine have tingles right
Oh,
there.
yeah.
Man. That
was
fucked
ready
with me.
I was ready
I
to.
don't even know what it sounded
I was
like.
getting ready to push this
I was
over.
in-
Yeah, I looked straight up like this.
I was in audition, so I couldn't hear. I just forgot to have it on mute.
Oh, okay. Very good.
But it came from this side too on my earphones, so I turned like this. So what the fuck was that?
Oh, yeah, I guess my wife is trying to do your wife and her a favor and get rid
Get
of
some
both of us in
insurance
one
money
fell
in
swoop.
one fell swoop.
Alrighty.
I do have real quick parting words. I have not been able to locate the reason why, but there should be a mention. And however you decide to send condolences to somebody, please do send condolences to somebody, whether that be prayers, thoughts, positive vibes, or pouring one out. Steve Bruce lost his baby grandson.
Oh, no.
He's been on bereavement leave from Blackpool for the last couple of weeks now, but his quite young grandson has passed away. I can't find a reason why. Nobody's reporting it, but it is that I can find at least. But obviously,
Fucking heartbreaking.
quite sad.
We bust balls about Steve Bruce all the time,
Yeah.
but no, God, that's terrible.
I can't stop looking outside.
I know. You keep thinking somebody's about to walk in.
Thanks. But yeah, so just send one up for old Steve Bruce for the the strength and of him and his family to get through this a very obviously terrible time. I mean, there's a lot of darkness and shit that happens in this world that we don't like talking about, but we bring up anyway because it needs to be talked about, it needs to be brought up, it needs to be done. But one thing we should never have to discuss is the death of a child.
Yeah,
And
precisely.
it sucks. And so Godspeed, and from me, prayers and positive thoughts, and from us here at the show, collectively positive thoughts and vibes to Steve Bruce and his son and their baby grandbaby. So
Alrighty. Next up is Injury Time, where we're going to preview the weekend's action. We're going to talk about our fantasy teams and the beers that we've been drinking. Should somebody want to support the show, Mr. Graham, how do they go about doing it?
absolutely, they find all the extra stuff at patreon.com/DU Football Show. Just sign up to that $5 tier. You'll get Injury Time, as Sam says, our preview show. You also get Sound Check, which is our sound check, and you're able to hear pretty much everything extra we do. Also, you do get the video for that. Sadly, though, it's not live. Wish it was, because we could tell you to call 911, as I was just about to do. Just give out Doc Sam real quick, because I thought we were going to die.
Every single noise right now, Graham is looking
Fucking
at
freaking
that
out.
door.
That is terrifying.
Oh, too funny. And of course, it's right around Halloween, which makes it a year like
It's
Michael Myers.
creepier.
Michael
No,
Myers is
somebody's
coming
trying to kill us. Yeah. Yeah. Maybe it's a crazed fan. Wouldn't mind that, actually. That means we made it.
All right,
This
everybody.
is where I missed the what the fuck button.
Till next week.
Good night.